Welcome fam! Before we dive into the story, please kindly subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share your thoughts below. David Okoro embodied everything people admired in a man. At 32, he had transformed from a fresh NYSC graduate living in a one-room apartment into the owner of Okoro Systems, a thriving tech company with offices across 3 Nigerian cities. His colleagues called him the quiet genius, but David's true wealth lay in his character. He remained humble despite his success, visiting his mother every Sunday after church and supporting his old secondary school's computer lab. His gentle nature and unwavering kindness earned him respect from family, friends, and business associates alike. David's days were filled with purpose and achievement, yet something fundamental was missing from his carefully built life. Love had eluded him, leaving an emptiness that no amount of professional success could fill. He yearned for a genuine connection, someone to share his dreams and build a future with, unaware that fate would soon test everything he believed about love and trust. On a rainy Friday in Lagos, destiny intervened at a Victoria Island boutique. David had reluctantly accompanied his friend Femi to shop for shirts after a tech conference when he encountered Genevieve Adebayo. She stood radiant in a yellow gown, her baby pink nails catching the light as she helped him select a shirt. Her smile seemed to illuminate the entire store, and her melodious voice captivated him instantly. Their conversation flowed effortlessly, stretching beyond mere pleasantries into genuine connection. That night, David couldn't sleep, replaying her laughter and the way her eyes sparkled when she spoke. When she texted him the following day, he found himself grinning at his phone for 10 minutes straight. Their first date revealed Genevieve's authentic side as she chose a humble umlaw spot in Surulere over fancy restaurants, declaring they should just be normal today. David appreciated her down-to-earth approach, feeling he had found someone who valued substance over superficiality. Their relationship blossomed through thoughtful gestures, flowers on her birthday, handmade bracelets, morning texts saying, "Good morning, my person." As months passed, David opened his heart completely to Genevieve. He shared his fears, dreams, and vulnerabilities, finding in her an attentive listener who seemed to understand his deepest thoughts. When he finally confessed his growing feelings, her response, "I've been waiting for you to say that," confirmed what he hoped was mutual love. David learned about Genevieve's work as a boutique sales representative and her dream of owning a fashion store. Without hesitation, he provided financial support to launch her online business, watching proudly as she took her first steps toward independence. When he introduced her to his parents, the meeting exceeded all expectations. Genevieve charmed his family with her respectful demeanor, serving food with both hands and calling his little niece Princess. His parents, initially curious about their son's choice, were won over by her apparent kindness and good manners. The couple's social media presence painted a picture-perfect romance, with comments praising them as dream couple and goals. David felt complete for the first time, believing he had found his life partner and soulmate. Despite the apparent perfection, subtle cracks began appearing in their relationship foundation. Genevieve occasionally made jokes about David being lucky to have her, comments that lingered uncomfortably in his mind long after the laughter faded. She would tease him about his village accent in front of her friends, promising to change his wardrobe completely after marriage. David forced himself to laugh along, but these moments created small wounds in his confidence. One day, he overheard her telling a friend, "David is sweet, but I can't wait for him to open a shop for me in Lekki. Boutique life isn't for me anymore." The conversation revealed her focus on material benefits rather than emotional connection, but David dismissed his concerns as overthinking. He rationalized her behavior as normal relationship dynamics, telling himself that love makes you blind. During family gatherings, he noticed Genevieve's reluctance to engage with his relatives and her visible discomfort with traditional foods and customs. These observations troubled him, but his deep feelings clouded his judgment, preventing him from acknowledging the growing evidence of incompatibility and ulterior motives. The engagement proceeded with fanfare, complete with a romantic rooftop proposal that became social media sensation. However, wedding planning revealed deeper cultural divisions and concerning priorities. Genevieve insisted on holding the ceremony in Abuja rather than Enugu or Lagos, citing neutral ground and class. Her demands escalated. 5 outfit changes, celebrity decorators, famous entertainers, and astronomical expenses that made David's father question whether they were throwing a wedding or buying a mansion. More troubling was her explicit request to exclude Igbo cuisine from the reception menu, dismissing traditional soups as weird and potentially offensive to guests. During the traditional engagement ceremonies, Genevieve's disrespect became more obvious. She barely acknowledged David's mother, hissed when asked to greet elders properly, and made disparaging comments about the village setting and local foods. When offered roasted yam, she laughed cruelly, declaring, "I'm not a village girl." David's family members began expressing concerns, with his mother directly asking if Genevieve would truly fit into their family. Despite the mounting evidence and family warnings, David continued making excuses, convincing himself that wedding stress explained her behavior and that patience would eventually win her over. On the wedding day, David stepped out to use the restroom and inadvertently passed by the bridal suite, where fate delivered a crushing revelation. Through the partially open door, he heard Genevieve's voice clearly. "Let me enjoy this money first. After 1 year, I'll be done. You think I came to this world to suffer?" Her friend's laughter encouraged her cruel honesty as she continued. "Can you believe I would marry an Igbo man for love? This one even has an accent. If not for the money, I would never." The conversation revealed her enduring love for her ex-boyfriend Dio and her plan to divorce David within a year after securing financial benefits. She dismissed his family as bush people and expressed eagerness to escape to Lekki for fresh air. David stood frozen, each word shattering his heart and destroying his faith in their relationship. The woman he planned to spend his life with had just revealed herself as a calculating manipulator who viewed him as nothing more than a financial stepping stone. His hands trembled as the full scope of her deception became clear. Every loving gesture, every shared moment, every promise had been an elaborate performance designed to exploit his generosity and genuine affection. Behind the church, David sat under a mango tree, struggling to process the devastating revelation while Femi rushed to comfort his friend. Through tears and disbelief, David recounted every painful detail of Genevieve's confession, from her admission of using him for money to her plans for divorce and reunion with her ex-boyfriend. Femi's initial reaction was immediate: cancel the wedding and expose her publicly. However, David's strategic mind remained sharp despite his emotional turmoil. He recognized that simply calling off the ceremony would allow Genevieve to control the narrative, potentially painting him as an unreliable groom who abandoned his bride at the altar. Instead, he chose a path that would reveal the truth with dignity and irrefutable evidence. Femi returned to the hotel with recording equipment, posing as a videographer capturing behind-the-scenes moments for a wedding documentary. Using the pretense of filming future rich wife scenarios, he encouraged Genevieve and her friends to act out their true feelings, unknowingly providing concrete proof of their deception. The hidden recorder captured every damaging statement, from cultural mockery to financial exploitation plans. Armed with undeniable evidence, David prepared to confront the situation with the same integrity that had defined his character throughout his life. The church buzzed with anticipation as guests filled every seat, admiring the perfect decorations and preparing to witness what appeared to be a fairy tale wedding. David stood at the altar, composed but resolute, while Genevieve made her grand entrance, looking stunning in her sparkling gown. As she took his hand and whispered about his apparent nervousness, David remained silent, knowing the truth would soon emerge. When the pastor began the ceremony with words about marriage being a bond of truth, love, and commitment, David politely interrupted. With calm authority, he addressed the congregation and placed a small speaker on the pulpit. Genevieve's recorded voice filled the sacred space, her cruel laughter and calculated confessions echoing off the walls as shocked guests listened to her plan for financial exploitation and cultural mockery. The audio revealed everything. Her continued love for another man, her intention to divorce within a year, and her dismissive attitude toward David's family and heritage. As gasps filled the church and Genevieve's face drained of color, David calmly tore their wedding contract in half, letting the pieces fall to the ground. "I'm not a fool," he declared with quiet dignity, "and I won't become one today." He walked down the aisle with his head held high, followed by his supportive family, leaving behind a stunned congregation and a woman exposed in her deception. The church emptied quickly as guests departed in shocked silence, many shaking their heads in disbelief at what they had witnessed. Genevieve stood alone at the altar, her bouquet fallen to the floor, watching her carefully constructed facade crumble before hundreds of witnesses. Her friends abandoned her without a word, unwilling to be associated with the scandal, while her parents sat in humiliated silence. The immediate consequences rippled through both families' lives. Chief Adebayo lost a crucial business partnership with Okoro Systems that would have transformed his struggling logistics company, receiving a formal withdrawal notice that same afternoon. Social media exploded with the story, turning Genevieve into a viral symbol of deception and gold-digging behavior. Screenshots of her words circulated widely, accompanied by hashtags like #RunawayGroom and #DignityOverDrama. Meanwhile, David retreated to his cousin's home, surrounded by family members who praised his handling of the situation. His parents expressed quiet pride in his dignified response, while friends and strangers alike celebrated his courage to choose self-respect over social pressure. The contrast was stark. David's reputation soared as people admired his integrity, while Genevieve faced public disgrace and social isolation, unable to hide from the consequences of her exposed duplicity. 6 months later, David had found peace in Enugu, volunteering at a youth center and rediscovering life's simple pleasures away from the spotlight. There he met Bidemi Akinlade, a soft-spoken volunteer teacher whose genuine nature and lack of material interest gradually healed his wounded heart. Unlike his previous relationship, this connection grew slowly and authentically, built on shared values and mutual respect rather than external appearances. Bidemi never asked about his wealth or social status, instead appreciating his character and finding calm in his presence. When David eventually told his parents about her Yoruba heritage, he demonstrated the wisdom gained from his painful experience. "I can't use one person's actions to condemn a whole tribe. Pain should make us wiser, not hateful." His family, having learned to trust his judgment, supported his happiness above cultural concerns. Meanwhile, Genevieve's life remained overshadowed by her public disgrace, her attempts at reconciliation blocked by David's complete silence. Their contrasting fates illustrated a fundamental truth about relationships and character. David's story became a testament to the power of dignity over drama, showing that sometimes walking away with integrity leads to genuine happiness. His journey from heartbreak to healing proved that authentic love, quiet, patient, and truthful, ultimately triumphs over manipulation and deception. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Share this video with someone who might be interested. Thank you for watching.